One of the things I'm excited about is the Holy Spirit Weekend coming up on November 11th in Lowell, Massachusetts. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, and again, the Holy Spirit Weekend that we are planning for November 11 on Saturday in Lowell is part of this whole effort that we're undertaking to provide tools and resources for the New England church. And one of the things that has been made clear to us is that as people who believe in the power of the Holy Spirit, who believe that we cannot just proceed on our own energies and our own strength, but that we need this amazing power that God has provided for us through the Holy Spirit, we need to find ways to familiarize lay people and pastors and churches about how to enter into a relationship with the Holy Spirit. And so this particular day, Saturday, November 11, is dedicated to facilitating understanding of the baptism of the Holy Spirit, but more than just a teaching, we want to have impartation as well. So for that purpose, we're bringing together people who are familiar with the Holy Spirit, who themselves have had an experience, an encounter with the Holy Spirit, and along with some teaching, basic foundational teaching on the baptism of the Holy Spirit, the ministry of the Holy Spirit, the Spirit-filled life, we will have opportunities for individuals who may feel that, I need to go a little bit further in my own walk with the Holy Spirit. Individuals who may feel that, they've never had really an impartation of that power of the Holy Spirit. And so by bringing together experienced, mature believers who have had experience with the Holy Spirit and allowing an opportunity for people to to have hands imposed upon them for prayer, for worship, for the provision of a kind of an environment where the Holy Spirit is really ushered in and asked to manifest himself. We think that's going to be a revolutionary moment for the church in New England. And we would like to do this more often, not just one time, but really for this November 11 event to become something that we can repeat every year, bringing God's people to glorify the Holy Spirit, to raise the profile of the Holy Spirit, and to declare that, yes, we cannot depend on our own strength and our own resources, but that we need that visitation from on high, and that we need to get churches and individuals familiarized and intimate relationship with the power of the Holy Spirit. So I think that that's another wonderful event that we hope churches and pastors will feel encouraged to bring their lay people and themselves to learn how to minister in a more organized sort of way, in a more systematic sort of way, the baptism of the Holy Spirit to their own people and their own communities. So I think that's going to be an exciting event as well. We hope that it'll be well attended.
Absolutely. I know coming from a background where there wasn't necessarily a lot of the Holy Spirit, I remember just I was fascinated by the person of the Holy Spirit, clearly very important, but also afraid, and I had some bad experiences. I would go,
Good point.
I sought out people that seemed to be Pentecostal, charismatic, and would try to get, they would try to get me speaking in tongues and put hands on me and try to push me over, and, kind of left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth at times. What would you say to some of that?
Yeah, and I think that's an important point, which is that we are seeking to be as let's say, encompassing and as complex and nuanced as possible in this presentation of the Holy Spirit. We want to escape the exclusive teachings and doctrines that sometimes just bring more controversy than anything else. We want to stay to the main point of introducing people to the Holy Spirit, encouraging them to pursue a life of relationship with the Holy Spirit, to continue reading and praying and investigating about it, but to provide to them the core of the doctrine of the baptism of the Holy Spirit, and to escape some of the exotic little doctrines that sometimes divide as to whether you have to be speaking in tongues or not. We want to explain, yes, that there are gifts that the Holy Spirit does bring to his people, but that doesn't have to be the main thing,
right,
at the start. We just want to provide that core, encompassing, embracing a kind of understanding of the Holy Spirit. And as a matter of fact, we will be having some teaching done by people from various denominations. So we are hoping to have Bishop Bill Murdoch with us. He's going to be doing some teaching. We're going to have Dick Kiernan from New Hampshire Alliance as well, who's a Catholic lay person, very involved with the Alpha. movement and who has been very instrumental in exposing New England to the teaching of the Holy Spirit from a Catholic perspective, Catholic charismatic perspective. So the idea is to make it interdenominational, make it biblical, make it generous in terms of the encompassing nature of it. I think it's going to be an exciting way of presenting the baptism of the Holy Spirit.
Now, you've done these teachings in your own church, and now we're shifting it to more of a regional vision. But let me ask you this. Have you ever been disappointed when you have done this in your church?
The reason why I felt compelled to offer this to the general population, the Christian population in New England, is precisely because of my very, very positive experience in my own church with what I've called encounters with the Holy Spirit. I've done several of them over the past 2.5 years, 3 years, where I take a whole weekend and I take 40, 50 people from our congregation and expose them from a Friday to a Sunday. This is going to be a much more concentrated effort as a prototype, because later on we'd like to make it maybe a little bit longer. But you know, I've always been delighted and affirmed in my conviction that this is an important piece that we need to rescue, the deliberateness of introducing people to the baptism of the Holy Spirit. I've always been surprised in the most delightful sort of way as I've seen people baptized in the Holy Spirit, deliverance from demonic oppression, emotional healings, growing intimacy of the people who have come to these encounters. And I have followed many of them over the months after they had this experience, because I wanted to know, I mean, really, does this, even me who teach about these things, does it work?
Right.
Is there like a palpable difference in the lives of these people? And I tell you, I am so enthused by what I've seen that I felt we need to make this more available to the general Christian population here in New England. And hopefully, who knows, I mean, this may set a precedent for even more general efforts such as this one.